right. We have a nice little crew building up here. All right. We're going to try one more thing. Our live feed is trying to be obstinate. So we're going to see if we can make this happen one more time. Come on, come on. Nope.
That's a bummer.
All right. Let's leave that alone. Let's get to the good stuff anyway, right? All right. I want to welcome you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is exciting. This is a brand new adventure for us at Organics. And I want to let you know that we're glad you're all here. I'm Joni. I'm the producer of the Organics podcast, Empowering You Organically. Here at Organics, we're passionate about vibrant health, and we're dedicated to empowering you organically. That's why it's part of the mission statement. Whether that be a squeaky clean supplement or engaging education in our podcast episodes or an in-depth article in our Inspired library, which if you haven't checked out, you need to do, we're a resource. We consider ourselves a resource for you and for ourselves because we love to learn. So I want you to think of it as adding tools to your tool belt. And as you continue on your journey to health, they'll be there for you to grab onto when you need them. So congratulations, first of all. Organics Live It implies positive action, and you've taken it. So congratulations. Just take a minute and think about that. You've made a commitment to you. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Organics Live It is a path to wellness that allows you to take action, which you've done. Participate in some fun activities that bolster your health and improve your overall wellness, and inspire you to keep on keeping on, because it's a long-term health lifestyle that we're after, right? We're not after fitting in a prom dress. We're after long-term feel good. So this week's challenges were fun. The physical challenge was pretty simple, 5,000 steps each day. And if you haven't watched our episode that John and Terry Ann did, make sure you check out Jonathan's tip about tracking, because it is very important. What we pay attention to matters to us, right? So make that a point of tracking for you. The emotional challenge was 5 minutes of meditation each morning, which is a great way to start the day, whether that be guided or just in silence. Or if you have your own little practice that you do, like a gratitude meditation in the morning is a beautiful way to start the day, sets the brain off, right? But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get our learn on, which is exciting. So let's get started. I'm honored today to introduce you to Ruth Cummings. She's going to help us find the connection between emotion and pain and disease in our body. It's so fascinating. You're going to love this. Ruth is the owner of the Athletic Touch Therapeutic Massage, which she founded in 1995. She has over 50,000 hours of experience as a massage therapist, working on all types of clients, ranging in age from infants to centenarians and everyone in between. So she's also works with professional athletes of the NFL, the Major League Baseball, and those UFC fighters, as well as amateur athletes in college and everywhere else. She specializes in chronic pain relief and injury rehabilitation, but her real passion is the treatment of emotional pain in teens and their parents. How beautiful is that? She has a bachelor's in psychology and creative writing, and she's a natural therapeutic specialist as well as a personal trainer. She coaches soccer and tennis, and her coaching achievements include 2 high school state championships in soccer and 1 in tennis. She's an effective communicator with teens and offers personal coaching in positivity, anxiety control, and self-esteem. Ruth is married with 2 teens of her own, and her family loves to travel. So I invite you to check out her blog or her massage website. I'll have the links for you. I'll when we wrap up, I'll have all this stuff for you. And she's got some fun things to offer you as well. So I'm not going to take any more of your time up. I'm going to let Ruth take it away.
Hello. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for that intro. That was great. This is kind of I'm cutting in and out, so I hope I'm okay. Can you hear me? You can. All right, cool. All right, guys, I want to talk to you about emotional pain and how to get rid of it and what it is. So what is emotional pain? Emotional pain is like when you have something that happens intensely in your life, and you feel it manifests as pain in your body. You actually feel the pain. Some really simple examples are your daughter goes off to college, like for me, and it's really sad, and you cry about it, and that's immediate release of that emotional pain. A lot of other things have happened. Say someone dies in your life. What if you lost a child, or if you lose a spouse or a parent, even a pet? Those are immediate things that we release that pain for, and that's emotional pain that we do immediately. One of my favorite ways to explain this, if we could do this as people, is when you guys have probably seen this on YouTube, and there's a cheetah that is chasing a gazelle, right? And the gazelle, like, he goes poof, he goes to the left and goes to the right, and the cheetah goes right by him. And what I like right after that is that the gazelle is cruising on over to his herd, and he jumps up and everything in his body shakes. And then he lands and joins his herd. That shake gets rid of all that stress. I almost died. I almost got eaten to death. And he gets rid of it. He completely forgets about it. And as humans, we do that as kids. You know, if you do the helicopter, you know, where you sit and you move your legs like that, we're naturally getting rid of that emotional tension, that stress in our body. But let's say your father says something to you that's painful, and you want to say something back, and you're a kid, and you want to say it and you don't. And it comes up like this and it just stops. So, and you can't. You got to stay safe. You got to stay respectful. Let's say you get fired from a job. You really want to just, but you don't. And these things start happening in our life, through our life. And we are not efficient at letting those out of our body. Well, those start to build up. And if you consider like your body is like a trash can, and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up with this emotional pain. And a lot of us can handle it for years, decades. And people will come in, and I'm not kidding, they'll come in like, and they'll say in their 40s, you know what? I was fine. I'm in shape. I do everything right. I eat organics. I'm doing everything right. All of a sudden, I have this major pain in my leg, or I have sciatic pain, something that shows up that wasn't there before, and they don't understand, and no one understands. And usually, sometimes they come see me last, right? So they've had an MRI, they've had maybe they've had a cortisone shot, they've tried some medication maybe, but still, it's there. It's nagging. That's the difference between like an emotional pain and a physical pain. Is if it nags you and you've done everything right, you're doing everything that you know to do, and it's still there. When that happens, that's when you kind of need to look deeper. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So I want to talk about the bottom part of our body. And my next talk in a few weeks on Halloween is about the top part. We want to start with the bottom. So if you know your chakras, awesome. But if you don't, there's a lot of people that don't. So what a chakra is like an energy center. And the root chakra is at your tailbone. And it is like the foundation. It's your foundation, and it involves a lot of things like grounding. So the things that the root chakra represent, it's red. And I sent a link with a sound to listen to. You can hum it, you can sing it, you can just listen to it. And so how do you know that your root chakra or your foundation gets off center? So the things that I just mentioned before, like if you have a death in your family, if you're going through a divorce, if you move, if you change jobs, all hits. And sometimes what happens is you actually move the foundation of your body right at the hips. So people will come in with sciatic pain or constipation that they've never had, bloating, just stomach pain, or how about really bad periods, like right there in the foundation of your body. It moves. It actually moves. And so it's important to consider. Now, not everything, certainly not everything is psychosomatic, but I invite you to consider that if these problems are happening to you, that maybe you could try these things that I'm going to suggest. For the root chakra, we have the enoughs. That's how I call it. When people come in, it's the enoughs. First of all, like everybody, every animal has that area of their body. So the root chakra is like, do you have enough food, enough shelter? Some people don't, right? Where am I going to live? But enough food, enough shelter. But the big ones, do you have enough love? Do you have enough company? Are you lonely? Do you feel belonging? Do you feel like you belong in your house, in your space? Do you belong in your job? Do you belong in your relationship and relationships? So those are big questions. And if you don't feel like you belong in one of those, or if you don't feel grounded in your life in general, like I really feel like this is my path, I'm good. If those questions come up for you like a little red flag right now, try these things. So one of the things you can do is you can breathe in. If in doubt when you're healing, breathing is awesome. It helps everything. It can help every area of your body. It helps anxiety. It just helps everything. If you're in a test, for example, and you can't remember the answer to a question, breathe. It will help. It'll bring oxygen to your brain, and it's just an amazing thing. I added, by the way, a link to some breathing exercises with Dr. Ladd, his pranayama. He is adorable. Now, that link is an hour long, so pick the ones that you like, and also do them sitting down, because you can pass out. So if you do them, if you're a beginner. All right, so breathing. If you're religious, or if you're not, but if you're religious, you can breathe in and visualize the Holy Spirit in light. That's what I do. But if you're not, you can breathe in, say, healing light. And you want to breathe it into the bottom of your, like the bowl where your hips come together. So you breathe it and you visualize it going past your lungs, and it fills up that bowl with that healing energy, and it heals that root chakra, or it helps you feel more grounded. And listen to the sound that I sent also. Yesterday, when I was getting the sound for you guys, I started bawling. And I'm telling you, this sound, it works. I'm really sad right now because my daughter just left. So I'm still, it's a good thing. It's a rite of passage, right? She has to go live on her own. But I was sad. I just turned on the sound. I'm not kidding. I bawled for like 10 minutes. I had a whole pile of Kleenex. So this sound is powerful. And if you're around anybody who's suicidal or just really depressed, take your computer or your phone with this sound and just have it sitting next to them. Have it sitting near them, and have that sound come in and heal them. It's very, very powerful. It's really cool. So use that sound. I gave you one for both root chakra and sacral chakra. Okay, so breathing, energy in, and sound. Another thing you can do is to journal. Now, if you don't know why you have these pains, journaling is a great way to do this. Another way is to go see counselors, but you know what? We can't see counselors right now. You can see them through Zoom sometimes, but counselors are awesome because they know the questions to ask you so that you can unravel these areas of the puzzle that just don't seem to let you recognize what's happening. Now, the body and the mind don't always communicate. Let's say something happens when you're young, like your father being mean to you or mad at you. We're not logical when we're 3. We're not logical when we're 15, right? And so we take it on differently. And if you are not good, some people are good at processing emotional pain. Some people are awesome and they never have to come see me or see a counselor. But a lot of us aren't, and we don't, it's not learn how to change those patterns. So there's patterns we have that in our physical body change the way we deal with and process stress. So like, let's say that your dad yells at you, you're 3, and you take that personally, and you start grinding your teeth and you start holding your hands as a fist as a kid. Then you look at yourself now. There are isms that you are doing and you don't even know it. You don't even know that you don't even know. And that's the cool aha moments. So if you can figure out a thought process, my dad's mad at me, and recognize where you're feeling that in your body. The gut, the root chakra, is one of the best places for that stuff to hide. Who sits there and pushes into their gut, right? There's people that come into massage, and when I go in to do massage, when I know that there's a root chakra issue, I have to do it very carefully. And a lot of times I have to put their hand and then put my hand on top of their hand and do it really gently, because no one's ever touched them there. And it's like, it feels very invasive and very scary. Why does it feel scary? Can you guess? Because they don't want to unravel this thing that helped them when they were 3 or when they were 5. It was helpful to go like this when they were 3. And that's true, because it helped them not get in trouble. It helped them not say something disrespectful. In some cases of abuse, it helped them not get hit again. In places like for soldiers, it helps them not get killed. There's some places where it's very important to be quiet, to stuff it, to just not say anything, to not move. Sometimes it is critical for life. So we all go through it, and it's okay. That's another thing, just to be really gentle with yourself. I don't see that very often, and I think most of us need to do that more often. So another thing for the root chakra is to get outside. Go into the sunlight. If you're feeling like you have to journal about these and you just don't know why you're hurting, you don't know why you don't belong, go outside, let nature help you. Be in the sunlight, try to absorb it. Go sit in a mountain. I'm going up to the Jemez Springs today for this reason, to just heal my body. And there's certain places outside the city, we all know that are more powerful than others. So that's another thing. Just get outside, sit down, garden. I have a list that I sent also of 19 ways to get rid of emotional stress and pain in your body. So you can go through a couple of those. There's a lot of them. So, and there's way more than 19. I just grabbed a number. So do those. Go through that list. It's really helpful. So the root chakra, like we said, is grounding, belonging, okay, and the enoughs. So if we move up a little bit, we have the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is orange, and it's right in the gut. So it goes from both sides, from front and back, and it's that whole area. So there's a lot in there. It's really easy to hide stuff in there, right? We have the large intestine, small intestine. We have the kidneys. We have the ovaries. There's a lot, right? There's a lot going on right there. The uterus for women, and it's easy for our emotional pain to hide in there. It's really easy for someone to find out that they have emotional pain if they have a headache. It's really easy not easy, but easier if you're constantly doing this, and you can stop that and learn not to do that. What's more difficult is if it is in your gut. That's a really hard place to unravel and to put the puzzle pieces together. One thing that I really like to tell people that we don't do, and I'm doing right now, is when we're sitting, especially all this time at home, our rib cage, right? Our rib cage is going into our gut. So the one thing you can do right away is just lift your rib cage off your gut and just give it a break for a second. Now, posture is important, but just if you do that, and of course, breathe, that will help that area. First thing, that's the first thing to do. Another thing I want to show you is one of my favorite massage techniques to show people. This also has to do with headaches, but this is the large intestine meridian. It starts right here. I'm just going to do a rough draft of this, right? Because you can't really see. It goes to the outside of the elbow. It kind of scoots back there, and then it comes through another point we're going to talk about next time, the root point. And then it comes down all the way, and it goes right into the large intestine. So there's points all along here Okay. And the fourth point is right here. So this is where you can massage that. And here's what I want to tell you about massaging yourself. We don't want to bruise ourselves. We don't want to dig, right? I hear that a lot. I'm just going to dig. Like, don't dig. And this is why. How many of you are hard on yourselves? How many of you don't forgive yourself? Where everybody else has the forgiveness of your heart, but you are like, bam, bam. And I mean, all of my girlfriends, me, I mean, I'm like the worst also. So I get people coming in and they're like, I want you to massage as hard as you possibly can. I'm like, whoa. And I can always tell that that person is really hard on themselves. And they see and have been taught in their lifetime that healing and body work has to be like this hammer. And so I always try to start a little deep, but then I come back into a soft and forgiving, very, very compassionate touch. And it's always, always, always incredible. So I'm going to show you how to do this. In these fingers, right? You want the best of you. You want the best of you to come out. You want to love this every single cell, every single atom. And you want that, like if you're the visualization of healing energy, you want that to come through. I want the Holy Spirit to come through my fingers and put love into this spot. And it's going to go into my whole body. But this right here, I'm intentionally going to calm my stomach, large intestine, anything, any anxiety, just like that. Do it like you were holding a butterfly. That's about the pressure. If you had a chip and you were taking away from a friend and you didn't want to break the chip, that's how hard it is. It's not very hard, but you got to grab the chip so you're not just sitting there. And another thing you can do for your brain while you're doing this is to wait for the pulse. It takes practice, it takes patience, but if you can sit there and wait for the pulse, that's very powerful also. There's oodles of books on the pulses, and there's different pulses. That's a whole other subject. But okay, so you do that, right? And you want to help your gut. Why? The gut holds worry in the front and fear in the back. Worry, it's one of all of us. We deal with worry, right? And if you worry, you've learned that from somebody probably. You've learned that from a parent usually, and you're teaching it to your next generation. So get your ribs up to breathe, work on that area, and try to relax it. So here's what I was telling you, right? That it's hard to tell if some of your emotional pain is stuck in that area, because you can hold your stomach really tight, like your guts and the things inside, those little tension, like the little fascia from your abs and your obliques, they can hold really, really tight, and you can't tell. Like it is who you are, right? You just, oh yeah, I'm not tight, I'm fine. So I'll have someone on the table. Here's their head, here's their stomach and their back. If I'm holding their back, and I'm going to also holding their stomach, right? Their back, when I start having this conversation about, hey, could you relax your stomach? Oh, it's relaxed. Okay. And as soon as I do that, their back gets tight. So here's another thing to think about. Every person has a manager in their body. A lot of people, it's their low back. Some people, it's their neck. Some people, it's their jaw. Some people, it's their hands. Some people curl their toes. I've seen all kinds of things. So like I say, something that makes part of their body, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, makes part of their body, that whole, uncomfortable. Then that manager gets tight. The other thing about the manager is the manager holds, it manages all pain. So like if I'm holding the back and they're like, say, yeah, my stomach it's relaxed. And I'm like, that's interesting. Do you know that your back is completely contracted? What? And so we have to, there's just this conversation between their mind and their body that needs to come together. We need to be on the same team. Your body is telling me one story and your mind is telling me another story. And I'm going to invite you again to consider that might be happening in your body. If you think you're fine and you kind of get mad at your body, here's another thing that happens. An athlete, they're getting older, they can't do their thing anymore. I went through this. I want to play soccer. I'm hurting. I have 2 ACL replacements. And then there's this anger from the mind to the body of like, I can't believe you're old. You suck. And there's this anger that happens. And then the mind like is like a little 4-year-old, but the body also says, all right, that's fine. You want that. And it starts to just cut you off and you can't feel things and it doesn't work as a team. So work as a team, be gentle with yourself. And if you hear those conversations happening, then here's my son. If you hear those conversations happening in your own head, then journal, get outside, start doing some breathing, possibly find a counselor, get a friend and say, oh my gosh, I think this is happening in my body. So this is how you heal this. You have to recognize when you don't have to. That's a harsh word. I'm sorry. That comes from a perfectionist, right? You have to. You don't have to do anything, but I invite you. So let's say you start to realize that there's something going on emotionally in your body, that the pain possibly isn't about running 10 miles a day. So like you start to figure out that, your writing or like your posture is not just about sitting at a computer all day long. That once that happens and it starts to open for you, then you want to try to see that pattern and start to dissolve it. It takes time. You have to have patience. So you'll notice if you're in the middle of a conversation, let's say that you get mad talking to your spouse. You're going to talk about travel, which is a huge problem for me and my husband. So when we talk about travel, it's always a fight. So you come to that conversation and you're about to have it and you realize, this is what I want you to realize. What happens in your body? Do your toes curl? Are you leaning forward like you're about to punch him? Are you on your back on your heels? Like you're like, no, you can't. Like, what is your body doing? Is your butthole tight? Are you holding yourself really tight? Like, what's tight on you? Are your fists going like this? Like, what's happening? And often, your brain's going to say nothing is tight. I'm fine. But when you find it, just breathe in and relax that area. And there's so many examples of how this could happen and why, right? For the middle, another thing you can do is heat. So get a heating pad. Don't use cold on your gut. Okay, don't use cold on your gut. Also, another thing, I have a lot of neck pain. Don't use cold on your neck. I've had a lot of neck pain, hand pain. Don't use cold, use heat. Okay, and then I brought a sound for you. There's a link for the sound. Again, that's for the gut. So if you have a lot of worry, if you have a lot of fear, then work on that. The thing about fear, the fear is in the back, right? And it's, we're running out of time, but the fear is in the kidneys and in what's the muscle called the quadratus lumborum. So you can massage it gently. You put your hands behind here. Actually, you can just put your hands behind your back like that and wait for the pulse. Again, patience, breathe, and recognize when you're holding your back, is your stomach tight? Are they working together? Are they a team? It's all about teamwork. It's all about balance. And I just want to give you hope. If you're hearing these things for the first time, there's a whole world out there that can help your pain. And there's other avenues. And creating a team of medical helpers for you is very important and may not look like, it may not have the people you think it has in it. You can pray about it. You can just build your team. Listens to you. Listening is a huge thing, and it's really missing in our society. And be a good listener to yourself. So I could keep going, but I think we're almost out of time. You want me to keep talking a little bit?
No, you're good, Ruth. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
think I learned a lot. I know I did. And I've listened to Ruth before. So every time I listen, I pick up a little bit more, especially if this is new to you. So we're going to have a recording of this. I apologize. The live feed did not work as intended. So, but we did record. So we'll post this. It'll be an episode on our Empowering You Organically podcast. We'll have show notes and transcripts too, so that you can go back and pick out all these little gems that speak to you. So Ruth is going to be back on the 31st, I believe it is, right?
Yeah, I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about, that's my favorite one. We're going to talk about the throat, letting things go, and how we feel like we have a bowling ball in our throat. And
Yes.
then the chest. The chest is grief, guys. Chest is love, courage, betrayal, and grief. And it's a big one. I love that conversation. You guys can always email me. You can get on my email list. I have a self-care email letter. You were going to say that. I'm sorry. I probably
Yeah,
cut you
no,
off.
you're good. I just wanted to let everybody know. Let me get the link to make sure I say it correctly. She's built this beautiful little package for y'all, and it's free. All you have to do is go to familyfitnesstravel.ck.page. And I will say that again because I want to make sure you guys get that. Family Fitness Travel, all one word, .ck.page, Page. Okay. You go there and you give her your email address, and she's going to send you once a week. She will send you, she's curated this beautiful list of her best self-care tips. So she'll have things about beautiful teas or stretches or more of the acupressure things that you can try. So it's beautiful. So it's free. I highly suggest you get in there and get that done. And make sure that you respond to the organics emails so that you get credit for being on the class and for doing all of the beautiful challenges. And we thank you. We thank you and we appreciate you. So go have a beautiful week, everybody. Take
Someone
care.
was asking again for that email. I
Oh,
saw
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
come across.
You say the email. Go ahead and give them the email. Or do you
Oh,
want
okay.
the link or
Sure.
the email?
You do it because it's familyfitnesstravel.ck.page, right?
Well,
And that's
what's
just,
your
I'm
email
sorry.
address? Your email address.
Oh, my email address is, you can go to info@familyfitnesstravel.com, or I have several. So there's info@athletic touch. Just give you
Let's
one.
just
Okay.
do the one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Info@familyfitnesstravel. That's my little fun blog, you guys. That's where I go play. I love Disney. I love to travel. I'm just, I'm a kid at heart.
All
So
right.
ask me any questions. Send me stuff. I saw some stuff on there. I'll help you find your manager if you want.
Yes, that is beautiful. That just the awareness, being aware. I think that's my biggest takeaway is the invitation to just be aware because what we pay attention to, we take care of. We do. Whether that is statistics for business or whether it's tracking our food, whatever it is. So track, pay attention, and be aware. And we will see you back here next Saturday, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.